Red alert. Humanity's warship is closing in fast. The cold silence of space stretched endlessly outside the observation deck of the HMS Resolute. Stars sparkled like tiny diamonds against the black canvas of the universe, but today, even their beauty couldn't calm the tension that gripped the crew. Captain Alara Voss stood at the command console, her eyes fixed on the holographic display floating in front of her. "Captain," said Lieutenant Amir Kwan, voice tight with urgency, "we're receiving readings from Outpost Gamma 9. They've detected an enormous fleet, unknown origin, moving toward the Sol system at sublight speeds. Estimated time to reach Earth, 48 hours. Alara's jaw tightened. 48 hours. Not enough time for Earth to prepare fully. Not enough time for panic either. Humanity had faced dangers before, but never anything this massive, and never anything so fast. "Bring up the tactical overview," Alara ordered. The display shimmered and changed, showing a grid of red and orange blips. Each one represented a ship, too many ships. And the blips moved with unnatural precision. "They're huge," whispered Ensign Leela Hart, her hands trembling as she pointed to one of the larger blips. "Their shields, they're stronger than anything we've seen before." Alara nodded. "We'll deal with that. Prepare the ship for intercept. All hands, red alert." The words echoed through the corridors of HMS Resolute, and instantly the crew moved with synchronized efficiency. Engineers raced to the engine cores, mechanics checked weapons systems, and navigators recalculated every possible route. The ship hummed with energy, alive with human determination. Captain Voss walked through the corridors, her boots echoing on the metallic floor. Every crew member she passed looked at her, some with fear, some with resolve. She gave them small nods and words of encouragement. Humanity's strength had never come from technology alone. It came from its people, and she would make sure everyone knew that. Back on the command deck, the tactical display shifted as new data arrived. "Captain," said Amir, "they're changing formation. Looks like they're coordinating for a strike. They're fast, but we can predict some of their patterns." Alara frowned. "Fast or not, they won't understand us. Humans never play by the rules." A faint smile crossed her face. That was the one thing she counted on. The enemy might have advanced shields, faster engines, or even weapons that could tear ships apart in seconds. But humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability could win wars. "Lieutenant Hart," she said, turning toward the young ensign, "prepare the decoy drones. If they come within weapon range, we need them ready to confuse the enemy sensors." "Yes, Captain," Leela replied, trying to steady her nerves. Minutes passed, hours maybe. Time seemed to stretch as the crew worked. Outside, the alien fleet drew closer, a dark shadow against the bright stars. Every sensor reading made the tension rise. Every calculation reminded them of the stakes. Earth was counting on them. Suddenly, the alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the command deck. "Incoming message," shouted Amir. He activated the communications console. A distorted alien signal filled the room, filled with a sound humans couldn't decipher. The display tried to translate it, but the result was meaningless. Alara's hand hovered over the console. She pressed a button to broadcast in the human universal language. "This is Captain Alara Voss of the HMS Resolute. Identify yourself." Silence. Then a pulse of energy hit the ship's shields. A small test strike. The crew felt it vibrate through the hull. It was enough to remind them that the enemy was not just approaching, they were ready to fight. "Shields holding at 70%, reported Chief Engineer Raimai Chen. "But they're testing us. They're probing for weaknesses." Alara studied the display. "Then let's give them something to think about. Fire decoy drones now. Launch them in a spiral pattern. Make them look like multiple ships." The command was executed flawlessly. Tiny drones shot out from the sides of the Resolute, spinning and flickering like fireflies in space. The alien fleet paused, sensors blinking as it tried to differentiate the real ship from the illusions. "Good," Alara said quietly, her eyes never leaving the display. "Now we buy ourselves some time." The ship shook slightly as a pulse from the alien fleet slammed against the decoys. Explosions rippled across the holographic display, but the Resolute remained untouched. "Captain," Amir said, voice tense, "if they push further, we'll have to engage directly." "Their weapons could tear us apart." Alara's gaze hardened. "Then we fight, but we fight smart. Humans don't win by being stronger, we win by being clever." The hours crawled by. The crew maintained focus, checking every system, reloading weapons, recalculating trajectories. Outside, the alien fleet crept closer, an ominous tide of black and silver shapes. Every second the threat grew. Then a new reading appeared on the sensors. It was unexpected. One of the enemy ships broke formation and seemed to move erratically. "Captain," Leela said, pointing to the display, "one of their ships, it's approaching from a blind angle." Alara's mind raced. "Blind angle, they think they can surprise us, but humans anticipate. Helm, adjust course to intersect their path. Let them come to us." The ship turned, and the alien vessel moved straight into the path of the Resolute's targeting systems. "Weapons ready," said Amir, his fingers hovering over the firing controls. Alara's voice was calm but firm. "Hold, wait for my mark." Time slowed. The alien ship drew closer. The crew held their breath, every sensor reading amplifying the tension. Finally, Alara gave the command. "Fire!" The Resolute's weapons activated, beams of energy shooting out with precise timing. The alien ship, caught off guard, was hit squarely. It exploded in a brilliant flash, leaving a trail of debris behind. The display flickered with the scattered remnants. A cheer rose from the crew, but Alara silenced it with a raised hand. "Stay focused. That was just one ship. The fleet is still out there. And they won't make the same mistake twice." The mood shifted, relief mixed with renewed determination. The crew knew they had won a small victory, but the real challenge was just beginning. Earth was still in danger. Humanity was still in danger. Alara looked out the observation window at the approaching alien fleet. Her reflection merged with the stars outside. She whispered to herself, "We are human. We adapt, we survive, and we will fight, always." The Resolute powered up its engines, faster than any human ship had ever traveled, heading directly toward the approaching fleet. Every crew member braced themselves. This was only the beginning. The real battle was coming, and humanity would face it head-on. Red alert lights continued to flash. Alarms echoed through the ship, and the shadow of war stretched across the stars. But in the heart of the Resolute, human courage burned brighter than any alien weapon. And Captain Alara Voss knew that as long as humans were unpredictable, creative, and fearless, no enemy, no matter how advanced, could count them out. The countdown had begun. 48 hours. Earth waited. And humanity's warship was closing in fast. The HMS Resolute raced through the void, its engines burning brighter than ever. Every crew member knew that the next few hours could decide the fate of Earth. Captain Alara Voss stood on the command deck, eyes locked on the holographic display, tracking the movement of the alien fleet. "Captain," said Lieutenant Amir Kwan, "they're splitting into two groups. One group is advancing directly toward Earth, while the other is attempting a flanking maneuver to intercept us." Alara's fingers tapped lightly on the console. She had expected this. Aliens might be faster and stronger, but humans were clever. "Then we split as well," she said. "Helm, take the Resolute on a sharp vector toward the flanking fleet. Weapons, ready in a phased pattern. Let's teach them what human ingenuity looks like." The engines roared, propelling the ship through space like a streak of silver light. Outside, the alien fleet's ships moved in perfect formation, but their pattern was predictable. Alara knew they relied heavily on calculations, and humans thrived in chaos. "Decoy drones, prepare for deployment," she ordered, "and this time, scatter them in a spiral wave. Make it look like multiple ships attacking from all directions." The drones shot out into space, spinning, flickering, and mimicking the Resolute's energy signature. The alien fleet hesitated, unsure which target was real. Their sensors blinked and recalibrated as they tried to identify the true ship. "Captain," said Ensign Leela Hart, "their ships, they're adjusting. They've noticed the decoys. They're focusing on the Resolute." Alara's jaw tightened. That was exactly what she wanted. "Good," she said calmly. "Let them waste time. Helm tighten formation. Keep us agile. Weapons, charge the plasma cannons. We're going to hit them where it hurts." The first shots fired. Bright beams of energy streaked across space, striking the leading alien ships. Explosions lit up the darkness as hulls twisted and cracked under the impact. The Resolute moved like a dancer, dodging counterattacks with sudden twists and sharp rolls. "Shields holding at 65%, shouted Chief Engineer Raimai Chen. "We can manage this, but if they push harder," Alara nodded. "We'll be ready. Humans are never predictable. That's our advantage." The battle intensified. Alien weapons, faster and more powerful than anything the crew had seen, slammed against the Resolute shields. Each impact rattled the ship, sending vibrations through the floor. Sparks flew from control panels as the crew worked tirelessly to stabilize systems. Suddenly, a massive alien ship broke formation and moved directly toward the Resolute. Its energy cannon charged, glowing a deep red, the color of danger. "Captain," Amir yelled. "They're targeting us directly." Alara's mind raced. "Helm, execute evasive maneuvers Delta 7. Weapons, charge concentrated beams. Fire when ready." The Resolute twisted sharply, dodging the first blast by mere meters. Its weapons fired in precise timing, striking the alien ship's engines. The ship shuddered, then spiraled out of control, colliding with another vessel. 2 ships destroyed in one blow. "Excellent work, crew," Alara said, her voice calm but filled with pride. "But stay alert. This is just the beginning." Outside, space was a storm of light and debris. Alien ships exploded in brilliant flashes, sending metal fragments and energy pulses in every direction. The Resolute's decoy drones weaved between them, confusing sensors and creating openings for targeted strikes. But the aliens were intelligent. They began to adapt, coordinating their attacks to counter the humans' unpredictable tactics. One massive ship fired a series of energy torpedoes, locking onto the Resolute. "Shields dropping to 40%, Chen shouted. Sparks flew from the engineering bay as systems strained under the pressure. Alara's eyes narrowed. "Deploy the EMP countermeasure." "Fire in 3, 2, 1. A pulse of electromagnetic energy radiated from the Resolute, scrambling the alien sensors. The torpedoes veered off course and detonated harmlessly in empty space. Cheers echoed briefly across the command deck before Alara silenced them. "Good work," she said, "but we can't rely on tricks alone. We need strategy. Amir, calculate a gravitational trap using that nearby asteroid belt. We'll lure them in and slow them down." Amir worked quickly, his fingers flying over the console. "It's possible, Captain. But it will require precise timing. One wrong move and we could be trapped ourselves." Alara nodded. "Then precision is what we'll give them." The Resolute moved toward the asteroid field, carefully threading between massive rocks that could crush the ship if miscalculated. The alien fleet followed, confident in their technology, unaware of the trap forming around them. "Now," Alara said, "activate tractor beams on the largest asteroids. Create a narrowing corridor." Massive rocks shifted, forming a tight passage. The alien ships, unfamiliar with such tactics, struggled to maintain formation. Some collided with asteroids, others tried to veer away, breaking ranks. "Weapons, fire," Alara commanded. The Resolute unleashed a barrage of energy beams. Targeting the disoriented ships, the crew struck with precision. Explosions rocked the asteroid corridor, debris flying in all directions. The alien fleet, once orderly and terrifying, was now scattered and chaotic. "Captain, they're retreating." Some ships are heading back, Leela reported, relief in her voice. Alara didn't relax. Not yet, we need them out of this sector completely. Helm, pursue, but stay outside their firing range. Weapons, continue precision strikes. The chase continued for hours. The alien fleet was fast, but the Resolute's crew used every advantage. Human creativity and unpredictability turned the tide. One by one, alien ships were disabled or forced to retreat, unable to counter the unconventional tactics of humans. Finally, after a long and exhausting pursuit, the remaining alien ships turned away, retreating into the darkness of space. The crew of the Resolute let out a collective sigh, some leaning against consoles, exhausted but triumphant. Alara stood on the command deck looking at the scattering enemy ships. She felt a mix of relief and determination. "We've slowed them down," she said softly. "But this is only one battle. The war is far from over." Chen approached, rubbing his tired eyes. "Captain, the ship took some damage, but nothing critical. Systems are stabilizing. The crew, they performed beyond expectations." Alara nodded, pride in her eyes. "They always do. Humanity never gives up, no matter the odds." As the Resolute continued through space, repairs began immediately. Engineers worked tirelessly, patching shields, recalibrating weapons, and restoring the engines to full power. The crew rotated in shifts, determined to keep the ship ready for whatever came next. In the command center, Alara studied the display tracking the retreating alien fleet. "They're regrouping," she said, "and they'll come back, stronger, smarter, angrier." Layla, exhausted but alert, spoke up. "Do you really think we can win, Captain? They're so advanced." Alara turned to her, her gaze steady. "We may not be stronger, we may not have the biggest weapons, but humans have something no one else does: creativity, courage, and the will to survive. We'll find a way. We always do." Outside, stars sparkled, indifferent to the battle below. But inside the Resolute, human determination burned bright. Every system repaired, every weapon ready, and every mind focused on the mission. Earth was safe for now. "Captain," Amir said, "Earth Command wants a full report. They'll want to prepare for the next encounter." Alara took a deep breath. "Send them a message. Tell them we slowed the fleet, but warn them this is far from over. And tell them one more thing." She paused, her eyes narrowing. "Tell them humanity never backs down." The crew nodded, understanding the weight of her words. Humanity's warship had faced the unknown, fought against impossible odds, and survived. The alien fleet had learned something crucial. Humans were clever, unpredictable, and not to be underestimated. As the Resolute continued through the quiet of space, repairs ongoing and crews alert, Captain Alara Voss allowed herself a brief moment of hope. They had won a battle, yes, but the war for Earth's survival was only beginning. And humanity was ready. The HMS Resolute glided through space, its hull scarred but still shining under the distant light of nearby stars. Captain Alara Voss stood at the command deck, watching the alien fleet regroup in the distance. They were fewer than before, battered by humanity's unpredictable tactics, yet their threat remained. These were not opponents who would give up easily. "Captain," said Lieutenant Amir Kwan, "they've formed a new formation. Looks like they've learned from the last encounter. They're coordinating even tighter now." Alara's expression remained calm, but inside her mind raced. They had delayed the fleet, but Earth's safety depended on one more decisive strike. She turned to Chief Engineer Raimai Chen. "Engines at full capacity. I want every system ready for rapid maneuvers. We're going to take the fight to them on our terms." Raimai nodded, his hands already flying over the controls. Engines stabilizing, weapons calibrated, shields holding strong. The crew moved with silent efficiency. Every person aboard the Resolute understood that survival depended on teamwork, courage, and creativity. Humanity had no choice but to adapt, and adapt they would. "Helm, plot a course through the asteroid belt ahead. We'll use it as cover and force the aliens into a choke point." Alara's voice was steady, inspiring confidence. "Weapons, prepare the plasma cannons and torpedo launchers. This time we hit them hard." Outside, the asteroid field loomed, massive rocks drifting silently. The alien fleet approached, unaware of the trap forming. Their ships glowed faintly with energy shields, but their sensors struggled with the dense asteroid field. "Captain," Ensign Leela Hart said, "they're taking the bait. They're funneling into the belt." Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "Perfect. Let's show them the cost of underestimating humans." The Resolute twisted and darted between asteroids, using the massive rocks as cover while lining up their first strike. Decoy drones were deployed in precise patterns, further confusing the enemy. The alien ships fired blindly, energy blasts striking harmlessly against floating rocks. "Now!" Ilara shouted. The Resolute unleashed a synchronized barrage. Plasma beams tore through the alien formation, while torpedoes guided themselves toward critical weak points. The explosions lit the asteroid belt like fireworks, rocking the enemy fleet and sending debris spinning into space. "Direct hits on 3 ships," Amir reported, excitement mixed with relief. "They're losing coordination." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Keep pressing. Don't let them regroup." The alien fleet responded with desperation. Massive energy blasts homed in on the Resolute, forcing it to perform impossible maneuvers. The ship twisted, rolled, and accelerated with the skill of a dancer, human reflexes keeping it alive where pure technology might fail. "Shields at 50%, Chen shouted. If they hit again, the hull could be breached. Alara's mind worked rapidly. "Deploy the EMP burst, scatter the decoys into multiple waves, make them think we've split into several ships." The pulse erupted, sending a ripple through the alien fleet. Their sensors scrambled and torpedoes veered off course. Chaos spread among the enemy formation. The humans had turned a dangerous situation into an advantage once again. "Captain," Leela said, "they're trying to retreat, but a few ships are targeting Earth directly." "We can't let them escape that way." Ilara's eyes hardened. "Then we cut them off. Helm, plot an intercept course to the vector leading to Sol. Weapons, prepare for concentrated fire." The Resolute surged forward, faster than the eye could follow. The remaining alien ships were caught between the humans' relentless tactics and the asteroid field's deadly obstacles. They had learned something crucial: humanity would not yield. As the Resolute closed in, a massive alien battleship emerged from the back of the formation. Its size dwarfed the others, and its energy shields glowed like molten metal. Ilara recognized the danger immediately. This ship could destroy them if allowed to fire freely. "Target that ship first," she ordered. "Amir, calculate a trajectory that will force it into the asteroid trap. Chen, power the engines to maximum. We need to control the battlefield." The crew moved as one. Calculations, adjustments, and commands flew across the command deck. Every person aboard knew that failure was not an option. Every action counted. Humanity's survival depended on it. The alien ship fired, a massive energy beam slicing through space. The Resolute twisted sharply, the shields absorbing the worst of the impact. Sparks erupted along the hull, and the crew felt the vibration reverberate through the ship. "Direct hit on shields," Chen shouted. "We're holding, but barely." Ilara remained calm. "Weapons, fire all torpedoes at once. Focus on the engines and shields. Don't stop until it's neutralized." Torpedoes streaked through space, weaving between asteroids and striking the alien battleship with perfect precision. Explosions rocked the enemy vessel, cracking its shields and damaging its engines. Smoke and energy discharges illuminated the battlefield as the massive ship struggled to maneuver. "Excellent," Amir yelled. "They're slowing down." Ilara didn't celebrate. "Keep firing, keep the pressure on. Every ship counts." The Resolute's crew worked tirelessly, striking the remaining ships with calculated precision. Decoy drones distracted enemy sensors, plasma beams targeted weapons systems, and torpedoes disabled engines. One by one, alien ships were destroyed or forced to retreat, unable to adapt to human unpredictability. Hours passed. The alien fleet was scattered, their forces broken, and their morale shattered. For the first time, they experienced what humanity had always known. Humans were resourceful, creative, and fearless when faced with danger. Finally, the last alien ship began to retreat. Alara watched as it fled into the darkness, leaving the battlefield behind. The crew of the Resolute exhaled, their bodies tense, exhausted but victorious. "Captain," Leela said softly, "we did it. We stopped them." Alara's eyes remained on the stars, still alert for any sign of threat. "Yes," she said, her voice steady, "but this isn't the end. They'll be back. We've delayed them, but Earth must prepare for the next wave, and we'll be ready." Chen approached, wiping sweat from his brow. "Captain, the ship took heavy damage, but the crew held. Every system we needed is operational." "Humanity's resilience, it's remarkable," Alara nodded. "Humans survive because we never give up. We never stop thinking. We never stop fighting. That is our greatest weapon." Outside, the stars were calm once again, indifferent to the battle that had raged through their darkness. But inside the Resolute, humanity's light burned brighter than ever. The crew worked to repair the ship fully, replenish energy reserves, and prepare for the future. A message arrived from Earth Command, crackling through the communication system. "HMS Resolute, report status. We need updates for planetary defense." Alara activated the console. "Earth Command, the fleet has been delayed. Several enemy ships destroyed. The rest are retreating. The human crew performed with excellence, but caution is advised, they will return. Prepare defenses and remember, humans never give up. We survive, we fight, and we will protect our home." The message sent, she turned to her crew. "Take a moment to rest. We've earned it, but keep alert. Humanity's journey is far from over." Outside the observation window, the void of space stretched endlessly. Stars glittered like distant promises. And somewhere out there, beyond the reaches of the galaxy, the alien fleet would be recovering, regrouping, and planning their next attack. But humanity had proven something crucial today. No matter how advanced the enemy, no matter how powerful their weapons, humans had one advantage no one could replicate: imagination, courage, and the will to survive against all odds. Alara looked at her reflection in the glass, her eyes steady. "We are human," she whispered. "We adapt, we endure, and we will fight not because we are perfect but because we refuse to be defeated." The Resolute powered down non-essential systems, engines humming quietly as repairs continued. Crew members rested in shifts, each aware that vigilance was necessary. But hope ran through the corridors, a quiet, unshakable certainty that humanity could face any challenge. In the quiet of space, Captain Voss allowed herself a brief smile. They had survived, they had won, and they had proven that humans were a force to be reckoned with. One battle was over, but the story of humanity's courage and ingenuity would continue, shining across the stars like a beacon for all who dared to doubt them. And as the HMS Resolute drifted through the cosmos, ready for whatever came next, one truth remained clear: Earth was safe today. And humanity, clever, fearless, and unyielding, would always rise to meet the darkness. The stars watched silently, but in the hearts of humans, a fire burned bright, unextinguished, eternal.